wonderful things that it can be for you as an entrepreneur, for the communities that you live in. We're going to talk about why it works so well for Idaho women and why it's important that you guys understand what this option is.
We'll give you some background on crowdfunding. Maybe it's not familiar to you. And we'll talk about why we think it's a particularly good fit for Idaho.
We're also going to talk to some Idaho entrepreneurs. We're going to talk with people who are actually working through the program and working on crowdfunding for their businesses. We're so excited to hear how the process is working for them and what experiences they've been having.
And we're going to talk about how crowdfunding can work with lending. And we're going to introduce you to the Crowdfund Better process to help improve crowdfunding success.
And last but not least, we want to invite you all, if you're watching this and you can think of a business that needs your support, that needs your community support, I ask that you tag them in these posts, tag them in our live feeds, really reach out to them, because right now there's so many people struggling and looking to find funding. They're looking for support. There's so many ways that we as communities can help our businesses. So if you see something here tonight that you think that someone would be interested in or that could help someone, please reach out to them. Get them in touch with us so that we can really reach back out to them and help them get the funding that they deserve. We're so glad to have you. So let's go ahead and just get started.
So, what's crowdfunding? Well, let's compare it to something a little more old-fashioned, like a barn raising. So I bet there are a bunch of barns that are not too far from where we are in Boise that were built communally. When people lived on farms, barns were a necessity, but they were expensive and they required a lot of upfront capital. So what communities would do was gather their resources and help their neighbors to raise their barn. And then the idea was that that was a circular relationship. I helped you 1 year, and 2 years later, when I needed help, you helped me to raise my barn. And that's what crowdfunding is. It's modern, it is 21st century barn raising. It's taking an idea and finding the funding, not from a single institution, but from a group of people, small amounts of capital from a large number of people. And businesses generally take a more traditional route. They go to a bank for a loan, or they look for an angel investor. But what if you can't get a bank loan? Or what if you don't know an angel investor? Well, crowdfunding says you can reach across networks. So instead of, as was when they were raising barns, only limited to their geography, you can now use digital tools to reach out to 100 people or 1,000 people, or if you're really lucky, 1 million people, to fund your idea. And people can fund your idea for as little as $1 or $1,000. And the beauty of it is not one single entity is supporting you. It's a group of people. And so you don't just get money, you also get community. You get a group of people who are cheering for you, who are rooting for you. And that's really important for a business owner. It's new funding that turns goodwill and trust and social capital into funding. And there's a reason why this is so important for women entrepreneurs. Women only receive 2% of venture capital and only 18% of SBA loans. But some of the data I've looked at says that 33% of crowdfunding campaigns are led by women, that women are more successful at crowdfunding than men, and that teams that have a woman on their management team and crowdfund, that they raise more capital. So crowdfunding gives people like you and me a chance to decide what gets made, who makes it, and who benefits. And when you change the funders, you change who gets funded. You get to choose what you want to see in your community. You get to choose what products and services are created, and you get to be part of the story.
I love the barn raising piece of that, Kathleen, because it really does bring it into rural Idaho and what we're doing with crowdfunding. The women of Idaho are entrepreneurs at heart. We are rural, we are strong, we have grit. There are so many women out there that are working businesses that really could do this and do it for real every single day and be noticed and be supported by the people in their families and their communities. I just love that we can bring it into that rural part of Idaho. You know, many of our women have experience with networking. They have experience with marketing. Many of you out there know someone who's really done great things in their community. And so this is not something that's a new skill. It's not something that has to be hard. It's something that they really can dive into. They already understand the concepts. It's really just giving them a little bit of guidance with that. You know, Crowdfund uses skills that not only do we already have them, but it's honing skills that really are going to carry these businesses and help them be successful for the life of their businesses. So it's not just something that happens once and then it's done. This is something that they can really use for long term. They can do it over and over again and really do something different each time and be supported each time with their communities. You know, crowdfunding gives them, the involvement of communities is one of the things that I fell in love with about crowdfunding. It's so empowering to know that your community stands behind you, that your community believes in you, that your community believes in what you have. They want to see you succeed, and especially through all of the things that we've been going through, communities want to get involved. And that's something for me that got me so excited about this, is just seeing that connection of women in business and their communities. I don't know that it gets much better than that. Like, this is such a great thing. You know, this strategy just really allows that mutual support, and being able to bring that to the women of Idaho is amazing. And I thank you for our partnership, and I'm so excited for each of you to hear more about it.
Thanks, Sayard. It's been really wonderful, and that's what I want to talk about next, how unique and first of its kind this program is, where we're bringing together crowdfunding expertise with a women's business center. And it's really putting together that expertise and that support from the IWBC that makes Crowdfund Idaho a first-in-the-nation program. And the education and the mentoring and the support, it's customized to the business owner, to that creative project maker, to that crafter, to that nonprofit. It really meets that person right where they are and provides them with the support that they need. And it helps them build networks and build marketing skills and build assets that will benefit them long beyond the actual campaign. And businesses that have been waiting for a financial gatekeeper to give them permission to start don't have to wait. Because as we all know at Crowdfund Idaho, you deserve funding. So I'm sure you've seen people use crowdfunding for things like medical expenses and for memorials. With Crowdfund Idaho, we're not focusing on that type of crowdfunding. While it's valid, we're focused on businesses, creatives, nonprofits, and community organizations. So who can use crowdfunding? Any type of business, from idea to startup to growth to established, whether you're online or you're a bricks and mortar, whether you're on Main Street, whether you are a customer-based business or you do business with other businesses, you're a local business, you're an international business. There are so many paths and so many ways to use crowdfunding. There's also different types of crowdfunding. So there are 4 main types, and one of those is called rewards crowdfunding. And this is when you offer someone something in exchange for their contribution. And if you are familiar with Proof Eyewear, which is an Idaho company, they actually used rewards crowdfunding 5 times to market test their product and their new designs. So it's already happening here in Idaho. You can also use donation-based crowdfunding. And One of the simplest ways to describe that is both Boise State and the University of Idaho have their own donation-based crowdfunding platforms that allow people to support student programs and to support faculty projects. It can also be used by nonprofits and community organizations. You can use it to help fund a municipal project. So if there isn't enough funding in your community, you can gather your resources and help make that project a reality. You can also crowdfund alone. So Boise's own, it's Fiddler's Green Farm, they actually crowdfunded a loan from their community to raise a barn. So taking that metaphor full circle, they used the funding to create a space to be able to expand their farm. And in just a minute, we'll be talking to a business that is using investment crowdfunding. This is one of the newest types of crowdfunding. It was passed in 2012 as part of the Jobs Act. And what's interesting is, until investment crowdfunding, you as an everyday investor really were limited. You really could not invest in a private company. But after 80 years, the rules were changed, and so now everyday people like you and I can invest in a company, invest in the companies we care about. And during this time, when so many small businesses are in need of support, this kind of crowdfunding can really help communities to preserve businesses that need help and that they want to see in their community. So as you can see, there's so many ways to use crowdfunding to grow your business in Idaho. I think that's all for the moment. We'll be back after this short break to talk with that investment crowdfunding company.